I arrive where unknown earth is under my feet. I arrive where a new sky is above me. I arrive at this land, a resting place for me. O spirit of the earth, this stranger humbly offers their heart as food for you.
Here we go. Woo!
We're starting there.
This?
We're gonna go,
Or
yep.
is it this?
Nope, we're going out this way to this hut. That's night one.
Tonight? Yeah.
And then we're going around this.
The long dotted one too?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the northern circuit. This is the around the mountain track. We're actually combining two routes.
The what? No.
First steps, yay! Right at 4 p.m. Whoa. Feels completely surreal that we're finally here doing this. We just took our first steps on a 7-day backpacking trip, combining the round the mountain trek and northern circuit in Tongariro National Park, New Zealand. I'm here with my brother Eric and his partner Stag. It's all of our first time in New Zealand, first time in the southern hemisphere actually. And there were a lot of points when we weren't sure this trip was even going to happen. Just a month ago, the US government had its longest shutdown in history, over 40 days. So long that it started impacting flight schedules. So we were worried about that for a little while. And then just 2 weeks ago, this park suffered a massive wildfire, burned 3,000 hectares in 3 or 4 days. And the park was completely closed to the public until just last Monday, less than a week ago. It reopened again. So Eric and I were texting furiously last weekend thinking we were gonna have to completely replan our entire trip the week before we left, but it reopened and we're actually here, we're actually doing it, and it just adds to this surreal feeling that we're all having right now. We're all just completely beside ourselves, stopping, taking photos. The foliage looks completely different. The birds are completely different. We were listening to a a silver eye, I think it was. Never heard anything like that before. It's just been an amazing start to the trek. Temperature is currently 64 degrees. It's partly cloudy, a lot of sun poking through the trees. Just an ideal start to this trek. I've had this trek on my backpacking bucket list for about 7 or 8 years now, and I've been committed to doing it for over a year, so I've been thinking about doing this for, over a year now, and now we're finally here. Can't believe it. Water is so blue. Wow. It's called a tomtit, little fluffy blackbird. Cool. Another tomtit. I thought it sounded different, but I guess not. A couple of them calling to each other. My mind is reeling right now. It's just last weekend I was hiking out to Unknown Pond in undeniably wintry conditions. Cold, snowy, windy, melting snow for water. And now I'm in this enchanted, lush green mossy forest. Mid-60s, sunny. Two completely different experiences just a week apart. It's yeah.
Yeah, I just take one with 2 hands and pull on it.
We're making our way to Whakapapaiti hut for the night, about 5 miles outside of Whakapapa village where we started, and we're about 60-70% of the way there now, and just opened up to this amazing view of Mount Ruapehu. which we'll be hiking around for the next 4 or 5 days. Spectacular spot. And the sun just popped out. Can't beat this.
The stars, because it's dark here.
Yeah. That would be beautiful. It's been so long since we've been so.
You can see most of the way up Ruapehu right now. It's very cool. You can see all these waterfalls cascading down from the snowfields up top, undoubtedly feeding the rivers and streams that we've been crossing and walking along since we set off. Amazing.
Cool picture.
Got here all by himself.
Common chaffinch. And I'm picking up a Eurasian blackbird too. Bit of a tricky one, this. Gonna see if I can skin a little less shin than stag did.
Hey, where that rock turns dark orange, that's the slippery shit.
Okay.
We're gonna be your anchor and catch you.
Okay.
Don't do what Stag did.
I'll try.
Maybe it's right here, but this is slippery.
All right. You guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to like go one arm for each of you, all right?
Okay, yeah, I'm
All right. On 1, 3, 2, 1. Nice, thank you. Yeah. Done. Put a little curveball at the end there, huh?
Yeah. I was like, that rock was hella slippery. It said, don't do it after heavy rains. I was like, I think it rained yesterday.
Yeah. Finally made it. Took a long time to get here. Boy, does it feel good. How you doing?
Okay.
We're watching the movie. No.
Really could not have asked for a more ideal day. First laid eyes on New Zealand at about 6 o'clock local time, and got through baggage claim and customs just fine. Met Eric and Stag in that line actually, and then got to drive on the left-hand side of the road in a right-hand drive car for the first time as well. It was a little tricky at first, but I got the hang of it actually by the end of the drive. Actually, the thing that really confused me the most was the directionals are on the column to the right of the steering wheel. So multiple times on the trip, I went to take a corner and accidentally turned on my windshield wipers, which I'm sure is a dead giveaway to locals that you're a tourist, but got a good laugh out of the guys, so all's well that ends well. Yeah, fun drive, and weather today so far has been absolutely magnificent. Oh wow, I just noticed you can see a bunch more snow in Ruapehu too. It cleared off quite a bit. But it's been a really, really long trip. I had a 23-hour flight, including a 17-hour straight shot from JFK Airport in New York all the way to Auckland, which it's actually the longest plane flight I've ever been on. It beat the 16-hour flight I did also from JFK to Taipei in Taiwan. That didn't end with that. It's also a 4-hour drive from Auckland to Whakapapaiti village, where we started. And then after all that, a 5-mile hike. So, I mean, definitely worth it, but it feels good to finally be able to stop moving for a little while. It's been about 36 hours of nonstop go. But really could not have asked for a better day. And there was just so much going on and so much new stuff to see that it actually didn't feel like quite as much of a slog that I thought it was going to be. So, man, that is amazing. We haven't seen the mountain like this all day. Anyway, distracted. Yeah, anyway, very tired, of course. We're probably gonna figure out dinner and then pretty much head straight to bed. I'll talk more about like the trip and what we're doing here tomorrow once I've got a well-deserved night of sleep behind me. But till then, yeah, I'm just gonna go through the motions tonight, I think. Last weekend I was using this to melt snow for water.
Oh my goodness.
A lot different this weekend.
Beautiful morning here at Whakapapaiti hut. Pretty much clear skies. There's a little bit of clouding in the west, but Mount Ruapehu is in full view. It's about 50 degrees, pretty easy to stay warm. And I slept like a rock. Got my full 8 hours, virtually uninterrupted. It started raining pretty much as soon as we went into our tents last night, but clearly that blew off at some point.
Does that sound familiar? Bro.
Tents are still a little wet, but all in all, a very nice morning. I'll talk a little bit more about the trip logistics a little later today, but for today I know that we're headed off to the Mangaturuturu hut, which is going to require a crossing of the Mangaturuturu River, which can be a pretty major crossing if the water is high. We had a little bit of a challenge crossing the Whakapapaiti River yesterday, but it was still doable. It was just tough to find a good spot to rock hop across. But all of these rivers are feeding directly from the mountain, so I think if it's clear today, the water levels should drop pretty considerably by the time we get out there, even if they are high. And beyond that, I think we have something like 7.5 miles to go today, about 50% more than yesterday, but we have all day to do it rather than just cramming it all into the late afternoon, which is nice. But I do think there's closer to 2,000 feet of elevation gain. I think we only did about 700 or 800 yesterday, so a lot more climbing today. But yeah, looking like it's going to be a great day.
So the notes I have for today's hike to Mangaturuturu hut are as follows. 7.4 miles, 2,046 feet of elevation gain, several undulations, 5 distinct high points before dropping significant elevation from 5,000 feet to 4,000 feet just before Mangaturuturu hut. So it sounds like a lot of up and down today. I think we go up past the hut.
Yeah.
We're doing it. Come on, it's literally the first full day. The temperature was about 43 degrees when I woke up right around sunrise, around 5:30 a.m. But the sun poked up over the ridge around 7, warmed things up quite a bit. We just left camp about 8:15. Temperature's now 55, but the cloud cover has increased significantly in the last half hour or so, and I just got a storm warning on my watch, so might be a little bit of wet coming our way today, but we'll see. So at this point, it looks like we just finished climbing up the Whakapapaiti valley, and now we're hooking south, and we're going to begin to climb this big ridge line that was kind of off to the right when we were looking up at Ruapehu from camp. That'll take us up to an elevation of about 5,000 feet, and then we'll drop down to the other side as we head toward Mangaturuturu hut. This is probably the same stream that was running by camp, coming from way up off the mountain. Time is 9 a.m. Looks like we just got over the first undulation, but the second undulation looks like it has the highest climb of the day. Pretty sure we got to get up over that big ridge in front of us. That's probably the next climb. Right here. This will work right here.
That's what I was looking at.
All
But
right,
that black one looks slippery.
I think if you're careful, it'll be all right. That was fine. Yeah, just plant your poles before you go and you're fine. Or don't.
I felt safer on the second one.
Yeah.
The next one in the middle was easier.
Just crossed the bottom of the first big valley, starting the second climb now. Second climb appears to have the most elevation distance between the bottom and the top, so it'll take a little while, but we'll just take our time. So we're about 20% of the way through day 2 of this 7-day hike in New Zealand. It's Thanksgiving week, and what we're going to be doing, we're on the North Island in Tongariro National Park, and we're combining a hike called Round the Mountain, which circumnavigates Mount Ruapehu, which was the big mountain we've been looking at for the past day. We're combining that with the Northern Circuit, which is a very famous hike here in Tongariro National Park that goes past Mount Ruapehu, which is the filming location of Mount Doom in the Lord of the Rings series. And that was kind of the focal point of this entire trip. The Round the Mountain hike, if you just go around Mount Ruapehu, usually about 4 days, and the Alpine crossing is usually a couple of days. So this is kind of like a 6-day itinerary, but we decided to put some mileage behind us yesterday rather than spending the night at Whakapapaiti village, because it makes today a little bit easier. Today would have been like 12, 13 miles, but since we got about 5 miles out of the way yesterday, now today's only about 7 or 8 miles, which is a lot more doable. And I think we're all glad that we chose to do that. I kept the days relatively easy, so targeting about 7-8 miles per day so that we can just take our time and enjoy ourselves. We do have one big day, which will be day 6, actually, when we go by Mount Ruapehu, because the Otariri hut is closed. My original plan was to go from Rangipo hut on the eastern side of this mountain to Otariri, which would have cut days 5 and 6 a little more evenly, but because that hut is closed, we have to go all the way around to the other hut. I can't remember exactly what it's called right now. Mangaturuturu maybe. So second to last day of this hike is going to be 12 to 13 mile hike, but not really anything we can do about it. I think the first 2 or 3 days of this hike are going to be like this, kind of foresty and big sweeping valleys, but once we get around to the eastern side of the mountain, we actually enter the only desert on the North Island. So the scenery is going to be quite a bit different over there. And then on the last 2 days of the hike, when we're doing the Alpine crossing, it will be, unsurprisingly, more like an alpine environment. So the way I see it, 3 major regions split evenly, roughly 2 days each. Should be a pretty amazing trip. Has been so far. That's the valley we hiked across yesterday. Came up there, and then camp is behind that mound. Last night we made it up here, across here, and then came up this way. Gorgeous view. Looks like climb number 2 is going to take us up and over this ridge above us. We're about 2/3 of the way there at this point. Well, we've made it to the top of climb 2. Feels pretty good. Wasn't too bad, honestly. And now we'll drop a ways before beginning climb 3, which appears to be the easiest climb of the day. And then we'll drop one more time and then start climbing all the way up to the max elevation of the day of around 5,000 feet along 2 distinct and separate climbs 4 and 5. And then once we hit that apex elevation, then we pretty much lose everything that we've gained before we get down to Mangaturuturu River, which will be a major river crossing just before we make it to Mangaturuturu Hut. I almost don't want to say it out loud, but the weather's been very pleasant today. It's been hanging around 55 degrees, and there's a light breeze that's been keeping us cool through all these climbs. And this fog is keeping the sun off of our heads, and it's also creating all these dramatic views. So couldn't ask for better today. It's been great so far.
So try not to do it arrogant.
Usually good advice. Dropping into valley number 2 as we speak, and then that up there is going to be climb number 3. Here's valley 2. Time to go back up again. Made it to the top of climb 3. Once we get down to the bottom of the next valley, we'll be about halfway done with today's mileage. Still a lot of climbing left to do though. heading down into Valley 3 right now, and heading right back up the other side. Just crossed Valley 3. Time for climb number 4. We're getting there. Starting climb 4. So we've just arrived at the top of climb 4. 1 to go. Still feeling pretty good too. And I gotta imagine it'll be over that ridge up there. Once we get over that ridge, we're pretty much done. Minus a river crossing. Oh shit. Slippery. Through Valley 4, coming onto climb 5 now, last of the day. just made it over climb number 5. We're at just over 5,000 feet. And now it's just a long descent down to the Mangaturuturu River, which once we cross that, we'll be pretty much right at the hut we're staying at tonight. ETA is about 3 p.m., so we'll have plenty of R&R time once we get there, which I, for one, am really looking forward to. Beautiful.
The rocks under it.
Boardwalk all the way down.
Whoa. That's wild, huh? Walking the valley of the Mangaturuturu River right now. This is just so unreal. I think I see a spot to cross here. I'll give it a shot. Eric just went quite a ways upriver and didn't find anything, so. That'll do. Thank you. All right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, at least the rocks stay put. .21 miles, 2,500 feet, 7 hours, 40 minutes. Whew, long day.
Well, we've enjoyed another pretty much perfect day here on day 2 of the trip. Managed to stay dry all day. I was pretty much certain in the morning that we were going to get hit by rain at some point during the day with all the cloud fronts rolling in, but it never happens. Ironically, we did get a fair amount of rain, but it was right after we got to the cabin, so we were just eating dinner and staying comfortable inside and watching it from through the windows. But that's blown through now, and now we have pretty much crystal clear skies, incredible views here in the Mangaturuturu River Valley. And these cliffs are really just absolutely astonishing. And I'm looking at a pretty nice sunset right now as well, so really nice end of the day here. Like yesterday, we took our time today. We left a little bit after 8 a.m. We got to this cabin. The cabin's actually just like right in the woods from the river here, so once you cross the river, you're basically there. But we got here right at 4 p.m. It's 8:15 now. Today was surprisingly tiring for an 8-mile day. I think the constant up and down really wore us out. Tomorrow's going to be pretty similar to today in terms of distance. Actually, it'll be about a mile further, but similar elevation gain. But the profile is going to be a lot different because tomorrow we basically start climbing right away, and the climb right out of the hut gains about 1,000 feet. So roughly half of the elevation gain that we're doing tomorrow happens, I think, within the first couple of miles. And my theory is that that will actually be a little easier overall because you get all the climbing done in one go rather than the 5 separate climbs that we did today. Yeah, all's well here on day 2. We're having a great time.